WCBI News at 6 starts now.
Good evening, everyone. The search for a missing man makes for a long day for Lamar County first responders. Vernon Police Chief Davey Eves was called about the missing man Monday evening, and the man was lost in the woods.
After a 14-hour search, the man was found on Moore's Mill Road. That was about 10:30 this morning with minor injuries. Our Stephanie Poole joins us in the studio with more on what happened. Stephanie.
Yes, there are many resources that go into conducting a search and rescue mission. Lamar County emergency officials came together to provide the best help possible. In emergency situations, a wide variety of services can come into play, from law enforcement to medical care. For a small town like Vernon, Alabama, that means reaching out to several agencies to assemble a search party. Lamar County Emergency Management Director Luke Ott says this is what first responders faced on Monday.
We have our fire departments, rescue squads, sheriff's department, local police departments, ALEA. If it gets to that point, then we need a helicopter to help for the search and rescue. And then if not, then we start calling forestry.
Vernon Police Chief Davey Eves says the helicopter gives those on the ground an idea of the best path to take.
We'll get on the ground and start doing a grid pattern, line of sight, keep somebody in your sight, and just walk the area until we find somebody.
Being in a small town can mean resources are sometimes contacted beyond city limits.
Somebody's lost, if somebody's hurt, if somebody's had a car wreck, we want as many people there as possible to help.
In Lamar County, we don't have that many individuals anyway, but we have a whole lot of people that come together. It don't matter who you are, how you are, where you are.
Sometimes the best help comes from people right here in the community.
Knew a gentleman that hunted those woods and was a lot more familiar with it than we are, and he came down and he kind of gives some instructions on how the roads laid out in there and where the four-wheeler trails were. So we kind of pull everybody that we can get in.
When we come together, then we come together as a team to help find those people.
Both Otts and Eves says if you find yourself in an emergency situation, please call 911 immediately for help.
It seems like almost every day there are new reports of missing people all across the country. While some have happy endings, many do not.
That's right. Our Riley Livingston talks with law enforcement about how they handle missing person investigations.
In the time that Jason Pugh has been sheriff, he has handled many missing persons reports.
You have old people that are starting to suffer from Alzheimer's that wander off and go missing, or drive off in their car and go missing. Then you have children that wander off for whatever reason, and then you have our hunters that inevitably get turned around trying to come out of the woods at night or something like that.
Each missing persons case is handled on an individual basis and typically not considered criminal until other factors are eliminated.
You're not immediately going to think that person was murdered or something along those lines. It's just when you start alleviating other things, like when you don't find them in a search of the area where they lived, or don't have what you need to see that they were leading a normal life right up until the minute they went missing. Then that's when you start thinking foul play may be involved.
When someone is missing, time matters.
In the past, typically, we've told people, well, if they've been missing 48 hours, we'll go ahead and treat them as missing persons. We've kind of got away from that at the sheriff's department here. We deal with it by situation, not by time frame. If it's somebody that should have been home at 5, that always comes home at 5, that doesn't deviate from a schedule, we start taking it more serious more quickly.
Sheriff Pugh says it's important to keep people up to date on where you are going.
We've seen situations where people have wrecked their car at night. Vehicle wasn't found till the next morning. You run into that. If people don't know to expect you or not to expect you, then if something happens, then you could potentially be laying somewhere hurt for quite some time, and nobody wants that.
And that was our Riley Livingston reporting. Winston County does have an active missing persons case. Desiree Eves went missing in November of last year. If you have any information that could help that investigation, contact the Winston County Sheriff's Office.
Verona police are investigating a fatal shooting. Investigators say it happened around 4:30 yesterday evening at the corner of 8th Street and Johnson Avenue. Lee County Coroner Carolyn Green says the victim has been identified is 50-year-old Walter Gillespie. At this time, it's unclear if there is a suspect in custody. Verona police are handling that investigation.
After spending nearly 2 days on the run, the accused gunman in a weekend shooting in Oktibbeha County turned himself in. 28-year-old DeMarcus Hayden surrendered to the Lowndes County Sheriff's Department today. Hayden is charged with aggravated assault, kidnapping, grand larceny, and aggravated assault domestic violence. Those charges stem from a shooting on Chisholm Drive this past Sunday.
Clear in Vernon, Alabama right now, 30 degrees more or less, and the wind is gradually lessening out there, but we have the full beaver moon rising on the eastern horizon this evening. Some of you are already dipping into the upper 20s. It's been a cold day. It's been a blustery day. We still have wind chills in the 20s and teens, and expect wind chills in the teens tonight. Record territory in some spots down to the mid to upper teens. We're going to go with about 16 in the Columbus area, 19 in Tupelo, around 18, 19, 20 degrees in some other spots. But if the wind goes calm in your location, yes, do plan on some record-setting temperatures down into the teens tonight. We'll have a nice moderating trend, plenty of sunshine over the next 7 days. Back with your full forecast in just a few minutes.
Lowndes County Schools will have a new leader come January. But right now, the school board is meeting the finalists for the job.
The board and a panel of hand-picked residents are questioning 3 candidates tonight. Our Quentin Smith is standing by live at the district office with the latest on tonight's forum.
Andrea, those candidates are being interviewed in executive session right now as we speak. They were called in roughly 20 minutes ago. Now, so far, the board has not released the names of the candidates, but what I can tell you is that current superintendent, Lynn Wright, he is not inside being interviewed. He's outside in the lobby with the other media members waiting on the executive session to end. Now, those who are inside interviewing the candidates, once they get done tonight, they'll give their feedback to the board, and then from there, the board will take everything under consideration before making an announcement. Now, of course, this is something we'll be following closely all throughout the night, and we'll have much more on this meeting as well as the board's decision coming up tonight on WCBI News at 9 and 10. But for now, reporting live in Lowndes County, Quentin Smith, WCBI News.
Monroe County Electric Power Association customers will have access to high-speed internet service. Board members of Oktibbeha County, or rather Monroe County, EPA voted to provide broadband service after customer surveys showed 96% of respondents wanted the co-op to offer the service. Public Service Commissioner Brandon Presley says the response shows high-speed internet is needed in rural areas.
This project was dead in the water 3 months ago, but members, owners of the co-op made their voices heard, and we see now the results of that, and that's the fact that the cooperative is taking the steps to provide broadband service, and this is much needed in their area, and members really stood up and made their voices heard after public meetings and a campaign to make sure that people turned their surveys back in.
So far, 6 electric power associations have announced plans to offer broadband internet service.
Former Secretary of Agriculture and Congressman Mike Espy is making another run for the U.S. Senate. Espy announced this morning he will challenge Republican incumbent Cindy Hyde-Smith in the 2020 election. The race could be potentially setting the stage for a rematch of last year's special election to fill the last 2 years of retired Senator Thad Cochran's term.
East Mississippi Community College paid tribute to veterans today during a special ceremony. Lieutenant Colonel Christopher Kelly with Columbus Air Force Base was the guest speaker. EMCC President Dr. Scott Alsobrooks says it's important to take time to honor veterans, and he also hopes that the event today will inspire EMCC students to look into a career with the military.
I think it's a great career opportunity. I hope that some may leave out of here today and they heard a lieutenant colonel from Columbus Air Force Base speak. It's a nurse. You know, maybe some of our nursing students here thought, wow, I might want to join the United States military and go contribute to our effort to our freedom. So there's great opportunities in the United States military.
Lieutenant Colonel Kelly is the chief nurse at Columbus Air Force Base.
Never too early to start planning for your future.
When we come back, meet some students checking out the jobs of tomorrow.
You're watching WCBI News at 6 with Andrea Self and Joey Barnes.
Welcome back, everyone. Calhoun County elementary students get a unique opportunity to plan for their future.
As Allie Martin reports, it was part of a career fair, and they're starting young.
At this career fair, 3rd and 4th graders in Calhoun County heard from a former NFL player, learned about precautions to take around power lines,
It'll actually jump through the air,
and tried their skills at welding.
I think it's so important for them to have career awareness, just to be able to see what is out there and to see what their interests are.
Professionals from 18 career fields were on hand. They all stressed the importance of academics and behavior, along with specifics about their professions.
A lot of kids think that when the police come that, we're going to take somebody to jail or just arrest them. But yeah, I want to let them know that we are the good guys, that we're here to help. The most important thing is get your education because, not many people get an opportunity to play in the NFL, and then once you get there, it's short careers. So I tell people, get your education. You can always fall back on that, and, everything else, is a bonus after that.
The takeaway from the career fair continues when students get back to their schools. Each class will have lesson plans that will review things they've learned about different career paths.
We point out the different subject areas that really take the front seat in different careers. This helps them to see that there are careers that do not require them going to college.
And all of the careers, along with numerous opportunities, are available in Northeast Mississippi. In Calhoun County, Allie Martin, WCBI News.
This is the second year for the career fair. Good thing it was indoors.
Oh my
A
gosh.
little blustery
A
today.
little cold.
You were exactly right. It was going to be cold today.
Yes.
It was cold. It still
Yeah.
is cold out there, actually, and we'll have the coldest night of this stretch tonight. We are cooling down through the 20s this evening. The wind, thankfully, relaxing here, but overnight lows in some spots will get down into the teens. Full forecast is next.
Your WCBI First Alert AccuWeather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
34, that's it for the high temperature today in Tupelo. Keep in mind the average about 66 degrees, the coldest day since March 4th in Tupelo and Columbus. And our record low this morning, 24 degrees in Tupelo, so 2 records for the day. And we may see more record lows established in the region tonight. We're forecasting 16 to about 20 or 21. And there you see the old records here, low 20s across the region. So just bundle on up. It is going to be a chilly night. You already know that if you've been out and about. A live view in downtown Tupelo with our Alpha Insurance camera looking at that rising full moon, 28 degrees. But thankfully the wind now down to 8 miles per hour over the last 24 hours. We've had wind speeds and wind gusts up to about 40 miles per hour. And those wind chills down into the low teens and single digits. But right now we've got mid-20s to around 30 degrees the actual temperature. Lows will be very chilly as we've been talking about really for the last 5-6 days. Tonight, the coldest of this stretch. Upper teens to around 20 degrees here in West Alabama, about 18 or 19 for you in Pontotoc and Tupelo, and for you in the Golden Triangle area. 16 in the Columbus area, maybe some spots only around 20. But if the wind goes calm in your location, you live in one of those low-lying sheltered spots, yes, a pretty good shot at getting down into the teens. The dew point right now is only in the low teens, and that's just very dry air. So we can really tumble if the wind relaxes. Tomorrow, though, all of this abundant sunshine will get us back into the 40s. A pretty nice day for us, but still well below average. Clouds increase on Thursday, still in the mid to upper 40s. Better rain chances south of I-20 on Thursday, and then we're back into the sunshine and probably a little bit warmer on Friday. We're mostly sunny with a high near 52. Already looking at some clouds organizing down to our southwest. That will be a system that will be trekking across the northern Gulf Coast. Tomorrow for us, a lot of sunshine. Speaking of that system, though, it will organize and move across the northern Gulf Coast on Thursday. There's actually going to be a weak cold front that will pass on through here. I think we'll see a lot of cloud cover on Thursday, but the better moisture chances will be along and south of I-20. That's really going to blow up into a big coastal storm once it gets out of here. But for us on Friday, the sunshine returns as high pressure comes on back. And that's going to be the story of the weekend. Lots of sunshine here. Let's check it out with your AccuWeather 7-day forecast. Tonight, very, very cold. Tomorrow, though, light and variable wind, 48 degrees. a great day for us. Not as cold tomorrow night with increasing clouds, 30, 47 mostly cloudy Thursday, 52 on Friday as we mentioned. Mid-50s to maybe upper 50s for the weekend. Another great one. Football, A-OK this weekend here. And for early next week, more sunshine Monday and Tuesday, a shot at 60 by Tuesday.
Nick Saban and company have locked in. Well, before we get to that, with temperatures expected to drop in the teens, the city of Columbus is teaming up with the Golden Triangle Homeless Coalition to open a shelter for residents needing a warm place to stay. Organizers say this shelter will open every afternoon at 3 and then close at 8 a.m. This will go on through November 15th. People can go to the Columbus Police Department to warm up or even sleep overnight. If you need a shelter, just come to the side entrance of the police department to be let into the building. Now to Nick Saban and company. They've got it locked in on Mississippi State, looking to stay in the college football playoff conversation. We'll have more from the Tide next in sports.
WCBI Sports with Tom Ebel is brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Go further.
With Mississippi State rolling with the 1A, 1B quarterback plan, Alabama will have to prepare for the possibility of facing both Tommy Stevens and Garrett Shrader on Saturday. Alabama head coach Nick Saban says he doesn't see much of a difference offensively when the Bulldogs roll out Stevens or Shrader. Saban saying the key for his defense will be to contain the QB runs.
They kind of run their offense. They run a lot of quarterback runs with both guys. And they run the same kind of passing game with both guys. So I don't really see a significant difference in what they do when those two guys play. I think they're both very capable guys. They're both big guys, and they have running ability, and they're both good passers. So it's a different kind of offense to defend because of the quarterback runs, but it's something that we need to do a good job of, run and pass.
The Crimson Tide now on the outside looking into the college football playoff rankings. The polls just becoming official. LSU number 1, Ohio State number 2, Clemson number 3, and Georgia up to number 4. Alabama ranked number 5 this week in the college football playoff polls. So the Bulldogs will take on number 5 Bama, and Ole Miss will take on number 1 LSU. It's time again. It's that November. The temperatures are dropping, so the big guys up front make even more of a difference. It's that wonderful time again to appreciate the guys in the trenches with our Lineman of the Week.
Tonight's Lineman of the Week with Calhoun City is brought to you by Natchez Trace Electric Power Association.
Tonight's Lineman of the Week is Joe Hood. Joe has 6 years of service with Natchez Trace Power Association. WCBI's Lineman of the Week out of Calhoun City is defensive tackle Shantavian Crawford. Crawford lived in the backfield against Strayhorn this past Friday. 6 tackles, 1 sack in the 63-0 win. Crawford and Calhoun City will host South Delta in the second round of the playoffs this upcoming Friday. 2 of the area's brightest stars named Mr. Football for their respective classes. Itawamba AHS's Ike Chandler named Mr. Football for Class 4A. And Lafayette's Randy Anderson named Mr. Football for Class 5A. Chandler is having a record book buster of a season, more than 2,500 yards of total offense, along with 31 touchdowns this year. Anderson has 2,000 yards of offense himself with 23 touchdowns on the season. Some area signings from today. New Hope's Logan Pinnell signs with MUW Golf. Logan placed 5th overall in the 2019 Class 4A State Championship Tournament and has played with New Hope Men's Golf since 8th grade. And a pair of Amory softballers signing to play at the JUCO level. From Friday, Connor Stevens signs with ICC. Stevens batting almost .350 in 2019 with 24 RBIs. And from today, Cassidy Simmons signs with Mississippi Delta. Simmons battled through injury last year, but will be a key contributor to the Panthers' upcoming fast-pitch softball season. For those of you that don't know already, go over to our Twitter and Facebook accounts at WCBI Endzone to vote for this week's Game of the Week. It's playoff time, so every game matters. It's win or go home. 4 big-time all-area matchups. Water Valley at Choctaw County, Pontotoc at Louisville, TCPS at Baldwin, and Myrtle at Knox Pater. So far, we're over to 1,000 votes between Facebook and Twitter. The polls will be closing at about 3 o'clock tomorrow. So let us know where you want us to be on Friday.
A lot of big games.
Can we vote?
Games. Yeah, absolutely. Everyone
Okay.
can vote.
All right,
Everyone
nice.
can. Go for it.
Who are you voting for?
I'm not telling.
We'll be right back.
We've been chilly out there this evening. The wind is relaxing, so the wind chill not really too much of a factor. It's just cold out there, and it's going to be cold all night into tomorrow morning. So if you're up early, plan on the cold, but by late morning into the afternoon, a great Wednesday for us. Still chilly, but much better than today. And we'll be moderating each and every day going into the weekend.
I wish we could show this cute picture of Miss Bella Boo.
Oh.
Joey's little girl. She looks so cute. She's all bundled up.
It was her first day. Had to get the hat on.
I love it.
Big jacket and everything. All right. Thanks for joining us, everybody.